Okay, so I'm really super excited. A little bit about how this came about. Kelly and I worked together. Well, kind of. We were like distant sideline sisters in another company for a long time, and then I went my separate way, and she kind of went her separate way, and then somehow I don't know, God just sort of like brought us back together in Messenger at some like odd time, and I was in the market for honestly like a life coach, and I really needed some help like sorting through stuff, and it was like perfect timing because there was Kelly, and so I'm really excited because she has really helped kind of open my eyes to a totally different way of looking at abundance and how I ask for that, and then how I can show gratitude for it like showing up in my life. And then also really that like law of attraction. I know we all kind of call it, I mean, we can all kind of call it different things. But really it's, what we're kind of attracting into, our space. And so I'm really excited. I'm going to let Kelly kind of introduce herself a little bit, talk about her program, and then get right into it. So Kelly, take it away.
Hey, so good to be here. My name is Kelly Lavelle, and yeah, we worked from a distance. Kind of had a chance to meet at our old company, and at that time, I'm a mom. I have two sets of twins, and after my second set of twins was born, I was really feeling like my spouse had a lot of twins. And I just was feeling the pressure of needing to bring in more income to the household. So if you are a mom and you're on here and that's what you feel, you are definitely doing the right thing for your family. Um, and what I was driving down to this job that I had, and it was coming to an end. I think I was working like 3 hours a week as a personal assistant for like $100. It was pretty easy, but not really doing much. And the last day that I worked there, was driving down and I thought, gosh, what would it be like to have financial abundance and freedom to just take pressure off completely? And I actually heard God. I really felt like God was speaking directly towards me, and He just said $100,000 a month, and I felt that my wings opened. I felt like the sky opened, and I thought, okay, show me how. And within about 24 hours, I was scrolling through Facebook. I saw an ad for that old company, and I jumped in and I just went for it. I think in a month I got a $10,000 bonus and promoted to one of the top ranks, and 6 months later promoted again, and 6 months into this company I had already grossed over $125,000, and a year in over 250K, and I just had no resistance. And so lo and behold, the next couple months didn't actually end up that way. And the mindset of that company was massive action, 10 exit, massive action. And when I promoted, I actually didn't take massive action. I really was taking inspired action and just focused that without a doubt I was going to have what I got into the company for and what I wanted for my family. And so yeah, at that place was very intense. And so after that full year of just promoting and doing well, I started to work really hard. And what I was realizing is that massive action in the wrong direction was creating frustration and distraction for me. And I kept hearing that quote over and over. And then I would think, well, inspired action in the right direction creates manifestation. So about a year after that, I totally sabotaged myself. I felt like a failure and a screw up, and I really let myself go in that business. And I just thought, if this is what abundance is about, like I don't want to be on this kind of roller coaster. And lo and behold, about 6 months later, I was in a lot of self development. In fact, the month that I promoted to the triple diamond level, which was like second or third to the top in the company, all I did all month long was listen to Earl Nightingale's Strangest Secret and get really clear about my mind. And what he said that caught me was, we become what we think about. And that was like the first or second first couple days, I think, of that month in May. And it really struck me that what I was thinking about was, oh my gosh, how am I going to promote? How am I going to get to where I want to be this month? How am I going to get there? How am I going to get there? How am I going to get there? And that's what I was thinking about. But what inevitably that is just not being there, right? It wasn't that I was feeling like, oh, I'm triple diamond. I did it. I'm making over 10 grand a month and on my way. It was, oh my gosh, how am I going to get there? What do I have to do? And try to figure it out. And so at at that day in the month, I think it was like the 3rd or 5th or something like that, I actually shifted my mindset and thought about nothing but just running to my goal the whole rest of the month. So I continued to listen to Earl Nightingale, and I made up this thing, which I'm gonna walk you guys through later, just where I was imagining myself on a football field and Triple Diamond was in the end zone. I just every time something negative came in or something happened or I felt like, oh gosh, it's not gonna happen, I would just turn in my mind and run to my goal. And sure enough, the end of the month came, some other, kind of things popped up. How many of you guys feel like you're just about to hit a goal and like all hell breaks loose and it feels like, what's happening here? Is it, the enemy? Is it sabotage? Is it this? Is it that? And I was like, oh my gosh, I must be promoting. So I ran home. I was at my family's house in Long Island and I ran home and I don't even think that I got to work. I think I just was like, yes, I'm promoting. And sure enough, in the next 24 hours, I hit the triple diamond and I thought, yes, this is mindset. This is creation. This is what it's all about. And then I ended up sabotaging my whole business and found myself in a certification for manifestation, which actually teaches what I was doing in that company. And I love it because it's not just about mindset, it's actually allowing yourself to embody what is to come before it's happening. And so some of the things that we've been working on and talking a lot about is um, abundance mindset. And so you can't create or grow an abundance forest based in a scarcity seed. You just can't. And so if your focus is in, I got into this company, I have to pay off my debt. I have to, and I think if you watch that video that Nicole compiled, we talked a little bit about this. You can't focus on the problem to get a solution because inevitably what this creates is this oscillation and connects you to that problem. So if I have a ton of debt and I'm thinking, I got to make money to pay off my debt, to pay off my debt, to pay off my debt, then all you're going to be creating and looking at is debt. If you want to create abundance and you really want to come into a place of manifestation and creating abundance in your life, it has to start from a place of feeling really full. Now, if when I first heard that, I was like, yeah, but I don't have it. And so if I want to prove to myself I can succeed and make $1 million by June, like show me how to do that and I'll do it. But how am I going to convince myself about being abundant right now when I feel like I'm at the bottom of the ocean, like I'm drowning here? So I'm also going to take you guys through just a little exercise to put you into the to this physical experience that we actually are in so much abundance all the time. We have more than people had 100 years ago. We have ice and we can buy clothing and we can get in our car, we can get on a plane and we can do all this stuff. But because it's so much a part of our daily life that we don't actually see how far we are. And once we fill that cup up and we start to fill up on this well of abundance, that feeling then opens up for us to begin to create. So let's think about, I want you guys to tell me in the chat or however you'd like to, like, what got you into this business to begin with? What are you going for this month? It's October 2020. I don't know how your 2020 has been, I could assume, but I could also assume other things because 2018 to 2019 for me was like the worst time of my life. And so 2020 has been aside from really busy with all 4 kids home and also trying to be an early childhood educator, which is not my thing. I love my kids, but I'm not a teacher. Aside from that, it's been unbelievably explosive and fun and abundant. So, what are you guys going for this month? And if you want to pop your name in the chat, I can see who you are. But if you want to say where you're from or fill me in, because I think if you start in a place early in the month, right? And in marketing, especially, it's like, oh, what happened to the first 20 days of the month? All of a sudden, we're coming up at the end. You got to scramble. But starting that on day one or what day are we in? 6 of the month is a very different beginning to creation and to what it is that you want to have. So, are any of you guys going for promotions this month?
Oh, they are.
All right.
I allowed I allowed you guys to unmute. So if somebody wants to volunteer as tribute, you can.
Cool. And if you could also put under your goal, if it's like a, a comfortable goal or if it's like a stretch for D3 2020 Club. Wait, my dad said your name wasn't on so loud. Supplement current income. Good. Positive direction of business. Good. Stretch like major stretch. Okay, cool. So what would that goal give you? So if you think about your goal, right? And sometimes when we think about a goal or think like, okay, well, this would be great to have it, to get into the true choice of what it is that we're going for. Um, okay, so Blair, I think what you're bringing up is such a good point. So if you feel like what you really need is a win and you're going to push and just go for a goal to win. That kind of a mindset is what I'm kind of talking about. I'm not like blasting you out on anything. I'm just kind of pulling it to the surface because it's such a good example. Good. Brittany says freedom to buy a house, make your mom proud. Good. And so, how would all that make you feel? Because if we can get into that feeling, right? Like if you feel like what you need is a win, what I would say is put yourself into the mindset of win. What does a winner feel like? What does it feel like to win? What does it feel like to have that in your body, your mind, your heart, your soul, your faith? Right? Excited to wake up every morning. What else? And you can actually close your eyes. I do a lot of eyes closed exercises, which we will do. But if you get into that place of a winning mentality and you wake up and you are winning life, this isn't just about positive affirmations here. This is about the feeling of what it would feel like to get up and win, you know? Decided to wake up every morning. What would it feel like? And even if you don't want to write it in the chat, when you can get into that feeling, that end result, it would be really easy to get up in the morning, get on calls, get on what you want to do because you're stress off your shoulders. Good. It would feel like you're getting up and already putting yourself in that mentality. So, what sounds easier? Does it sound easier to wake up and think, oh man, I got to shoot for that goal today? Or does that like kind of give you the option to go get coffee, meet up with a friend, go for a walk, take care of the kids? And then here goes the whole day. And it's like, oh, right, my goals for the month in 10 or 15 days, right? As opposed to you wake up and you think, I'm winning today. I'm going to win the day. I'm just going to go for it, right? Or you can start to feel what it's going to be like to receive that extra money. What would you do with it? What does it go to first? What would it feel like to write your bills or buy your house in cash and think like there's so much more where that came from. Like what would it feel like to be in that place? Being able to focus on the most important things. Good. Good. And so, how many of you feel like you're coming from a place of abundance as opposed to, or I'll put as opposed to trying to scramble to make something happen in your life? I feel like I could breathe again. Good. Breathe deep, my friend. Breathe deep. Michelle, right? Gosh, I remember that anxiety. I'll never forget how anxiety ridden I was to like make something happen and continue to make it happen. Right. There would be more than enough every day in the bank account. Right. Provide better for the kids. Yeah. I don't know. It's a great feeling to say yes, and it's a really good feeling to have money in the bank and be like, no, not today. No choice today. That's just me. Side note. Side note. So this is really good. So what I'm gonna do with you guys first to not be stressed and actually be good, to be able to sleep peacefully. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. You shouldn't be out of a bad situation. Okay, good. Good. So the options, right? Money gives us freedom, money gives us options and all these different things that we can do. So a lot of us think that, well, we have to have it to actually experience that. But the truth is that we have to be it before we see it. And if we can allow ourselves to be in this moment and feel the win, to feel the abundance, to actually focus on what it is that that's going to bring us, then we aren't actually dependent on how, when, where, who, or what, or the expectation of like shooting for the goal and either falling short or not making it happen or not knowing what to do, right? And that's the other thing about our brain is that when we ask our mind, well, if I'm going to go for something I've never done and I think, how am I going to do this? My brain is going to be like, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how. And how many times have you sat and thought, well, I want to go for this? And your brain just comes up blank, like, I just don't know how that's going to happen. So we sit in this place often as opposed to kind of stepping into this is my end result and getting really crystal clear about what that looks like and then taking inspired action. So, what I mean by inspired action is not the massive action in every direction, but the action that makes the most sense. And so, if we aren't exactly sure what that is, there are a couple things that we can actually do to get that information also, which would be I'll take you through an alignment exercise, but you basically put yourself into the mindset of the person that you're becoming, right? Because the person that you are today isn't the person that's gonna wake up and open the bank account every day and feel like, hey, we just are in this wild abundance, or be able to decide what kind of situation you want to live in as opposed to where you are now, or be able to pay off all your bills or have more than enough, right? So that person, once you get in touch with who they are and how they feel, actually can give you the information about how they got to where they are and what they did to get there. It's kind of a weird exercise, but it gives so much information about what's possible. Because the truth is our brain is that broadband of information and possibility. But if we're asking it how about that thing that we've never done, the brain comes back with like, I don't know, nothing. But if we ask the correct questions, like, what could I do today to get myself closer to my goal? What could happen? Where could I go? What could I be doing? As opposed to how, what could, and then what will I do to take the action to get there starts to create this really amazing experience of creation, which is all the parts of the brain start to light up in this way and activate. It's kind of like the reticulating activation factor is when you think about if you want a red car, right? And you're looking around, and all of a sudden, everywhere you go, you just see that car. You just see red car, red car, red car, red car. There's like the whole road is filled with red cars. Well, it's not that more cars that were red decided to be on the road that day. It was because the part of your brain is starting to wake up and be aware of those parts that you want to attract more into your life, and then to access and connect you to get on the road to get there. So our brain is actually this magnificent tool that if we start to open up to what could we do, what could be possible, we start to end up going down that road of creation. And so if your goal is, I don't know what the names of some of these were, but if your goal is to promote and to hit that stretch, and you wake up every day like, yes, I'm winning today. This is what I could do to get there. This is what I will do to get there. This is what I'm going to go and do. It gets you kind of move forward and moving in that direction. And then the next thing you know, at least what I have noticed is when I'm in that manifestation mode, I start to think about certain people. I start to feel or see certain things on Facebook. I start to look at certain things in certain ways and have the urge to like message or talk to somebody or bring it up in conversation, or different things start to happen. And if you act on that, that's that really sweet spot of inspired action, right? It's like, why am I thinking of Nicole today? I don't know. Let me just send her a message and reach out to her because there's something that's happening, right? But if we think, I don't know, that's weird, or we don't pay attention to those things, then that inspired action just becomes noise. It just becomes waste. But if we actually pick it up and think, I'm going exactly right. I'm gonna act on those inspired moments. And if we're paying attention and that's where we're headed, those things are going to be highlighted. Like, gosh, I just can't get this person off my head. Let me just give them a buzz, or send them a message and see what's going on. Or they pop up in, my Facebook feed, and all of a sudden they're like, oh my gosh, hope COVID's hit hard. I need a work from home opportunity. Does anybody have one? And then boom, there you are, and you get your next runner. Like, we just don't know. But the how is not important. It's the end result and the connection to that. So I'm going to take you guys through a couple little exercises if that's okay. Do you guys have any questions or anything? What's hitting home so far? What are you guys picking up so far? Feel free to unmute or pop it in the chat. Or not, and I could just take you into this abundance meditation. So this actual visualization really changed my whole life. Um, and it put so much into perspective about abundance. And so like I said before, it's really hard to fill. I don't know if you guys have ever had this experience, but if you're trying to make money or dig yourself out of a hole, it just seems to get deeper and darker and bigger as opposed to like start to fill up with actual abundance. At least um that was my experience. Is like the bigger that I thought I was going and the more money I actually made at that time, it came from such lack that nothing got saved, nothing got put away. It just was like in and out. And so when it came to money, my feeling about money was always lack, always in a place of, I don't have this, what I would do with it if I did, but I don't have it, so it's not going to happen. And no matter if I made $12,000 a month or $1,200 a month, I would always end up at the same place of about zero. So I don't know exactly how that happened either, but that was then. And so it was definitely coming from this place of lack. And so when we come into abundance, what does abundance mean to you? Like, to have abundance, what's the definition of abundance? And anybody can answer. Or if you guys just want to listen, I don't have to be asking questions either. I know it's kind of late for some of us. More than I need, so I can give to others. Good. Yeah. So abundance is more than enough, right? To just have more than enough. And more than enough for some of us is $100 extra. More than enough is $150,000 extra. More than enough is just that feeling, right? So I want you to come into just get comfortable, and as you're ready, I'm gonna have you close your eyes. I'm gonna close my eyes too, so you don't think that I'm just weird and watching. And I want you to just take a deep breath in and think about this idea of more than enough. And if you're kind of feeling like you don't have enough, or you feel like you just need to have a win, or you just need to be able to get yourself out of a bad situation, or if you just feel like you're getting by, I want you to just take note of that and kind of shift into this place of possibility, more than enough. And I'm just going to ask you a few questions, and I want you to feel into the truth about the question for you. And so just feeling the chair beneath you and just letting yourself kind of get comfortable. And I want you to just take notes. So, do you have more than one pair of clothing than you can wear at a time? And if your answer is yes, I want you to just kind of get an overview sense of how long could you go without doing any laundry, even if you wore your fancy stuff? A week, 2 weeks, 6 months? And just let yourself come into the realization of what it is that you have in your drawers, in your closets, all around. Just breathe and feel. Feel into that more than enough. Good. And then I want you to just think about, do you have more than one room that you can be in your place of dwelling? And if your answer is yes, I want you to just imagine all the spaces that you could take up in your home or wherever it is that you are right now. Feel into that kind of space, feel into that area of more than enough. Good. Notice what starts to happen in your body. Maybe your shoulders start to relax, maybe your belly starts to relax. And then I want you to just focus on this question. Do you have more than enough food in your refrigerator and cupboards than you could eat in one sitting? And just breathe and feel if that's true. And just feeling into that place of more than enough. Good. And then maybe that starts to feel into gratitude. Maybe that just starts to feel really good. Maybe your heart starts to fill. And just a few more questions. Do you have more access to people around the world than our president did 15 years ago? Feel into that truth. Feel into the abundance of what we have access to now. Our whole world could get shut down and we could still access each other and be resourceful and connect with people all around the world and not miss a beat. Good. And I want you to just breathe and feel into the atmosphere and let yourself just exhale deeply And on your next inhale, I want you to see if you can just suck all the air out of the atmosphere. So take a nice deep breath in. Take in the biggest breath that you ever have taken. Take in more. Take in. Suck all the air out of the atmosphere if you can. And then just relax. Is that possible? Not even close. And the truth is that money is like air. We have access to it. It's all around us. There's wild abundance, even if the scarcity of what we're being fed is on TV or in the news. The truth is that it's everywhere. Good. And if you feel into that, especially with such an amazing line of products that people could really find ease to have a non toxic home or take care of their body with non toxic products and take care of their children and their skin and all these amazing things, just feel into the possibility of what it is that people really need and could want from you. Notice what happens when you throw the doors open and that feeling. Good. It starts to create that magnet, that ability to just show up and be something or have something that people really at this point in time want and need. And so just feel into that. Good. And then just take a couple deep breaths there. Notice how that made you feel. And then as you're ready, come back to me. Good. And just notice, sense, and feel how that was. So I want you to share. You can unmute, you can talk to me, you can put it in the chat. What was that like? What did you notice, if anything? Don't be shy. I'd love to hear from you. Oh, a bunch more popped on. Hi, everybody. Confident. Good. That's right. How so? I'm going to wait because I love to hear from people. Yeah, you don't have to be shy with me. Right. Right. Grateful. Just that you have more than you need. So it's kind of cool to have that feeling and then think, gosh, it would be so fun to have more, right? Not necessarily more things, but more abundance and more possibility. Feel lighter. Good. Good. Made more sense, even though you already knew. So it's so great to kind of like get in touch with that and feel into that every day. So you want to win the day, fill up on abundance because that's what attracts things to you. It's like you ever think, oh, I'm working so hard and nothing works for me. And we get into that kind of victim mentality because nothing goes our way. What are we actually working from when we're in that mindset? It's like lack. When you actually have abundance, it's like abundance attracts abundance. Then all of a sudden, this like flow starts to happen. So, light went out. So, it's kind of this cool thing that starts to happen when you feel really full. It's like, it's not like you have to reach for it and kind of get that feeling of like pushing away what it is that you're reaching for. You actually can just relax and allow it to come in, right? And I know Nicole works a lot on attraction marketing and just kind of being out there and talking about your life and then being like, yeah, and these products are freaking awesome. It's like get to keep everybody safe in the household and happy and make money and live a good life. And people are like, what are you doing? That's that like pull in of attraction marketing too. So anybody else want to share or anything new kind of pop up or feel anything really interesting? Feel free. So I'll wait as they kind of if you guys want to enter it in, I won't miss it, I promise. So the other thing about being it before you see it, and with the coaching work that I do, we always focus on the end result. And the truth is that once we know what we want and that's what we're going for, the only thing that actually keeps us from it is just resistance. And so if we think about it as just resistance, right? That this is what I want and this is where I am. The only thing that's keeping me from actually going for it, if we just let go of the resistance and take those inspired action steps, then we can have it. We can have anything. We can have everything that we want. And um, to allow ourselves to kind of dream a bigger dream for ourselves or shoot for something that we really love and really want to have in our life. Um, when we can focus on that end result and just continue to take that inspired action in that direction, of course it's going to come. Of course it's going to happen. So I'm going to give you guys that tool and just the experience of that end result. And the way that I like to describe this, I don't have a rubber band, is in a structure. Success is not, it's not personal, it's structural. And so when you think about that or feel into that, what does that mean? Does that mean like, well, if it's personal, that means you could look at certain people and think, oh, they always win, or they always promote, or everything always goes their way, or they're lucky, or whatever. That doesn't ever happen to me. But that's not structure. That's not personal. It is structure. And so when you have this structure of I'm in a position where I don't want to be, or I never get what I want to have, or if you're like me and you promote and then think, oh my gosh, I'm unworthy, right? And that sabotage creeps in, then that structure is gonna maintain itself because it's what you know. If you want to create a new structure, you have to have a different focus, a different feeling, and let go of some of the resistance, right? So I want you to think about your end result. And if your end result for this month, October 31st, October 31, is your next promotion or whatever that win is for you, and we get you into that feeling, the feeling of that end result, right? And you kind of breathe it in, you notice what it feels like, what it's going to be like to have that extra money in your account. So close your eyes and just go there for a second. And I want you to kind of hang in that place and let yourself really feel what it would feel like to just step right into, let's say you hit it before the end of the month, that you just get to enjoy Halloween with your family or with your kids, or now that most people aren't celebrating, you get to do whatever you want, but that you could just have a great day and not have to worry about it because you already promoted. So let's put you at the end result, the day of the month, you hit your promotion or your next goal. Notice how that would make you feel. And I want you to really let yourself settle into what it would be to have that, what it would be like to supplement your income, what it would be like to kind of to just wake up and have no stress and no pressure because you took advantage of the rest of the month prior, what it would be like to just have and call in new team members if you have to grow your team, or new customers and clients if that's what you need is volume, what it would be like to celebrate those wins, not even just for you, but for your team. the ones that you bring in, your team at large, to be witnessing with each other that everybody on this team is hitting their goals. How would it feel to be part of that? To have exactly what you need and more than enough to be able to choose where you want to live and the changes that you can make to be able to say yes to your babies and give them whatever they want, to be able to put a down payment or pay for your house in cash and make parents proud, to look at your bank account and just think, gosh, there's plenty, there's more where that came from. And just breathe deep and let yourself be there. Just be it, have it. Notice the feelings that come with it. Maybe it's confidence. Maybe you feel empowered. Maybe you feel even more clear. Good. Breathe and feel. And I want you to just imagine that you're in that place, having it all. And it's as if you step into a rubber band. And in this rubber band, that end result is going to stay right where it is. And you're just going to back right up in the rubber band and just back up, back up, back up, back up, back up, all the way to today, October 26th, or October 6th, sorry, missed a few weeks. Just back up, back up to today. And it'll feel almost like you're holding tension with this structure, right? But what's cool about that is the only thing between you and your end result is space and time. And I want you to see if you can play with the feeling of the structure. Like if you back up enough, you can really feel that the rubber band starts to get tight. Feel the tension. And even if you hopped up a little bit, the tension is so strong, it would kind of pull you forward, almost like a magnet. And if that end result hopped up a little bit, it would start to move towards you. Just notice the buoyancy of this structure. And I want you to just take a deep breath and really focus. And just feel into the difference between where you are today and where you want to be. And if any limiting beliefs pop up, that's just resistance. If any judgments, doubts, or fears pop up, it's just resistance. If any insecurities or old patterns or old habits pop up, that's just resistance. And you can just simply let it go and feel into this structure and focus of what it is that you want. And then get really clear about what could happen. What are the unlimited possibilities that could happen? You could sign a runner. You could sign someone that just comes in with her hair lit on fire and is ready to rock and roll. A whole team of people could find you and join your whole organization. Could reach out to a bunch of customers, could do an event. Well, I guess you could do an event, a social distance event for cleaning and helping people get support in their bodies and in their homes with their kids. What could happen? Could walk by somebody that just drops you a piece of advice that inspires you. You could be in the perfect time in the perfect place strike up a conversation that leads you to some new friends and new people. You could have a video that goes viral, could be followed by new people. Someone could see a post and be inspired. You just never know. Anything could happen. And then I want you to get clear about what could you do? What will you do? What will you do every day? Even if you just focused on this and running towards that end result every day, that's huge action. Just feel that. So, whatever it is for you, I want you to just let yourself come into contact with that and make that agreement with yourself. What are you willing to do to make this dream come true for yourself? Good. And just breathe and feel and get that structure, get that end result, get your present current situation really clear and just feel it. Good. And then we're going to actually drop the rubber band. And I want you to just imagine on the count of three, you take off towards that goal. We're not actually going to hit it today. I just want you to have this sensation and feeling of running towards it. Good. One, two, get ready to take off running right to it. Three, run. Let yourself get faster and more focused and more clear. Notice you're going in one direction, right to the goal, right to it, right to it, right to it. Get that sensation in your body. And I'm just going to tag this for you that if anything negative comes up, or any doubts or fears, or misconceptions, or stories, or excuses, that you could just think, I'm just going to run to that goal in my mind's eye and see what happens. I'm just going to run to where I want to be. Become what we think about. What we focus on, we create. Good. And just get that feeling. And then just take a couple deep breaths. Settle in. And maybe you want to make note about running to your end goal every day in your journal or in your phone. And just come back to me as you can. And let that become a practice. How do you guys feel? I can only see a few of you, but how do you feel? Comments, questions, concerns, requests, complaints. How was that for you? Senior 6 feels so easy. Yeah. Yes. Cool. Good, Erica. Yeah. It's just one step at a time. The next right thing, right? My kids watched Frozen 2 today. That was like one of a really brilliant part in it. What else? Anybody else want to share? So while you're typing in, that is such a great practice, or if you give yourself a challenge to listen to Earl Nightingale's Strangest Secret every day. It's on YouTube, it's free. He talks a lot about Yes, yes, Michelle, that's exactly what it is. If you wake up every day feeling like, I'm winning, 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 winning. Oh, is it Michelle or Tiffany? I'm sorry, I'm calling you Michelle. Sorry. But that mindset is it's everything. What we become what we focus on. We become what we think about. And the truth is ask and you shall receive. Reap and you shall sow. Um, what's the third one that he mentions in that? Do and it shall be done unto you. Something like that. Yes. So do you guys have any questions? I would definitely write it down somewhere and make it a point to focus, just even if you did nothing but like run to your end result every single day in your mind's eye a couple times. Massive, massive change. It doesn't take much. We're, you know, we are loved by a great God. And I don't think that those things would be in there if they weren't meant for us. So if you guys have questions or you need anything from me, I know we're setting up like kind of a 12-week thing. And if you need anything, I'm here.
Yeah. So, do you think you have like a second to kind of like maybe talk about how your 12-week group will be set up? Because there are
Sure.
a couple people
So,
who already committed to it, and then a couple people that have been like sort of on the fence. And I was like, okay, well, you guys definitely need to come to this so that you can kind of like kind of see what it's going to be like. So I thought maybe this would be a good time for you to kind of give more.
talk about that. Yeah. So basically, um, it's it's a 12-week step kind of program to become the person that we want to become. And so the first few weeks are all about like structure. I talk a lot about this structure that I call lenses, and it's all about that end result and then breaking it down into year, 90-day, 30-day, weekly, daily goals that you could do to get yourself there. And it's not necessarily a checklist. It's not like, oh, well, this is what I would have to do, da, 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 and getting it done. It's more about that inspired action. And so we do a few different pieces to kind of get yourself into what would that part, and you can even try this on your own, but what would that part say like to do to get to them? So we do a couple alignment exercise. We do creating uh, your new identity that you're going to be becoming, because if you want to do things you've never done, you have to become a person you've never been, right? So instead of coming out of that old place and older mindset of what's gotten you kind of here, or even habits and patterns that have stopped you, we get you into a new place of who it is that you want to be. Maybe with this company and what you create, you want to be a leader. You want to have really deep valued connections that you haven't been able to have because you're too stressed about paying your bills, or want a deeper connection in your family life, or living a life you love. And so we get really clear about that in the beginning. And then the next couple of weeks, we get into true choices. And so, like I was coaching a little bit on here, if the true choice is, or if the oscillating structure or a choice is out of scarcity, for example, and I'm thinking, God, I have to pay a lot of bills. My first goal is to make $2,000 extra a month. How come? It's coming from a place of lack. And so, what we're going to do is kind of take those goals in particular off the table and look at that you can be a predominant creative force in your life. So, you never have to feel victim to anything again. And you can take those action steps and feel really empowered to tap into your true nature and purpose, to tap into a life that you love, and then health and vitality. So, we kind of set up this um, core coordinating points, if you will. And then out of that, we step into that possibility of opening up to to being a conscious creator. And so if you come into an end result like this and think, yeah, how amazing would it be, and what could happen, just heading in that direction to allow your dreams to come to fruition actually allow these things to work their way out with more ease. So it's kind of activating the part of yourself to bring in more ease and more grace. And so in each of those sessions would be doing kind of like the mental emotional pieces of releasing the resistance. So what I do as a coach is let go of the resistance through something called a recode, where we just kind of step into what's getting in the way, popping it to the surface, and then just releasing it and letting it go so that you can keep moving forward without that resistance popping up, right? So if you're looking at your end result and think, gosh, I have no idea how I'm going to get there. I'm not good enough. I don't deserve it. Whatever limiting beliefs could bring us into that place, we're not going to act based on what we think about. We're going to act based on what we believe and how we feel. And so if I'm feeling not good enough, I'm going to act a certain way, as opposed to if I'm feeling like I'm the predominant creative force in my life and I've got this, I'm going to feel a different level of confidence, right? So we kind of handle all of that, and we'll handle all of that in the 12 weeks and get you into a place of knowing how to see what it is that you want, like what's next, and then how to take that inspired action and release resistance and go for what you want. So it's an offering, and just working with Nicole, we've been talking about it, and I thought it would be like, something that I could offer to her team and just kind of see where it goes. And I'm setting up some recordings for my group coaching program. And so, it would be help, win, win. And if you guys want to be a part of it, that's awesome. I would love to share. I'd
Yeah.
love to have you.
Oh
Get
no,
you guys fired up.
yeah, I know that a lot of people are excited. They like had questions like, okay, well, what's it going to be like? Or some of them have never done any kind of like coaching at all. And so I'm really excited. Thank you so much for letting us steal an hour of your time, like late at night. I appreciate you.
You're
Um,
welcome. I
so
love you. I love you
again,
guys. I'm rooting for you. And like, gosh, kill it. Go get it. Go get it.